Really, really intentful week and a half here of prep as we go into conference play. It gave us as coaches a minute to self-scout, gave us an opportunity, as we do every week, but really gave us a long, hard look at what the first 4 weeks look like, areas where we've been successful, and then areas where we've had to really focus to clean up some things that showed up that either caught up to us or had not caught up to us yet. So really intentful in all 3 phases of the game to clean up what we had to go clean up, really focused on Charlotte starting on Wednesday, Thursday. We were able to get out and recruit for 2 days and then came back. Our guys handled the week, I thought, extremely well. And then they've handled this week extremely well. So we're locked in. Like I said, really since July, we've got an older group of guys that are leading the charge. I think they've done a really good job of setting a standard, holding everybody to the standard, and continuing to push forward. For us, as we go into conference play, there's not a magical message. It's truly us controlling our own process, us controlling our own attitude, effort, us controlling our intent more than anything else, us controlling our focus as we move into this stretch again of 4 games into a bye, into the last 4. Charlotte coming up, a team, and I told our guys on Sunday, a team that resembles us 2.5 years ago. A lot of seniors, 19 guys in the 2 deep that are seniors, a lot of guys that are new to the program, brand new staff. The thing watching the film is it's exactly what you saw at Ohio U. Coach Albin built an incredible culture, won 10 games the last couple of years, won a conference title. There's a handful of those guys that came with him. I've got so much respect for Tim. I've known Tim since I was a GA. But you watch the film, and it is a bunch of guys playing really, really hard on both sides of the ball that are trying to truly find an identity. And they've had some injuries. Guys have stepped up. There's so many new faces from what we saw the last 2 years, but you could see there's a culture being built of toughness, of grit. They don't shoot themselves in the foot in all 3 phases. You watch the special teams, sound, intentful, really violent at times. You watch offensively, got the quarterback. They had an injury at the Q spot, so the backup comes in and never loses stride there. And then defensively, very much a sound system that's going to make you earn everything you get. But you've got defensive film to watch from Ohio U. Offensively, new staff coming in, and so you're kind of digging to make sure you got enough to go off of, especially with the new quarterback that's played 2.5 quarters. So I think our guys are going to be ready to rock and roll Friday night. Ray J, throwback helmets, throwback vibe. I think there's so much excitement around the program right now. I'm excited. Our guys are beyond excited to start conference play. And excited to play a good opponent in Charlotte coming in here Friday night. We need our students there Friday night. We need our fans there Friday night. It'll be awesome. It'll be electric. It'll be awesome. I can't wait. So I'll open it up.
What do you think the benefits are to playing on Friday night where you're the game in town for anybody that wants to watch football that night, as opposed to being lost in a very busy Saturday?
Yeah, I hope we don't get lost in a busy Saturday. We've had some Saturdays that have had some eyes on us. So. But I think Friday night, our guys know. I think the one unique thing about playing on Friday night, one, like you said, you've got the eyes of the country on you. Obviously, nationally televised. You've got to be locked into knowing more than anything else. For our players, all their peers are laying in the hotel watching that game. For our peers as coaches. Guys are getting their prep done on Friday night, and everybody's watching it. So, not that it changes what you do or how you do it, but it certainly our guys are aware. I pointed out to them on Sunday, man, these are your peers watching, and I think that's quite different. I think Ray J on Friday night under the lights will be incredible. I think the fact that the entire country gets another view of what we're doing, what we're building, an opportunity for us to show our identity to the whole country is certainly, I don't know if you need extra motivation, but it certainly doesn't hurt.
You've spoken about how Mac Harris has assumed a leadership role. He has really refined his process in the 2 or 3 years he's been with you. But just on the field, these 3 or 4 games, Alex, what has he done especially well these 3 or 4 games?
Yeah, I think, you point out the leadership part on Mac. I think Mac has, what I'm most proud of Mac is how much he's grown, and really Shu in the same breath. Everything starts defensively down the middle, and both of those guys have done a really phenomenal job of not just understanding how important their role is, but understanding, one, you got everybody watching. 2, you've got everybody else you got to get lined up. I think the unique thing about Mac is Mac has had to grow up a ton, physically, emotionally. He'll be the first to tell you that he's had to grow up and mature in every imaginable way. I think the biggest thing for Mac is, as he's owned the fact that he's been thrust into this leadership role, his process has gotten so much better because he knows everybody else is watching him. And I think he's known that for 2 years, but for the first time, I think it's clicked to him. 1, the fact that he's a senior. 2, the fact that, man, like, we've had to change the entire culture of this defense. And between him and Shu, they understand everybody's watching them. And what it's done is, 1, it's elevated everybody else's play, but 2, it's elevated their own play because they know that every single bit of what they do matters. And I think when you recognize that you're a leader, you recognize that people are watching, you tend to either crumble or it brings out the best in you. And right now, Mac has made some plays that I think you hope that he could make. Shu in the same breath, those guys have just happened to be around the ball when good things have happened. And in turn, as we've preached since the day we got here, you don't just, like, balls don't just bounce your way. Balls don't get thrown to you. They happen because you run to the ball. They happen because, as T.O. would put it, the football gods are watching everything you've done all week, and then it comes your way. So those guys have elevated the play of the defense, and we need them to be the best version of them. But I think in Mac, in the regard of Mac, he's worked himself into a guy that if I'm an NFL team, I'm looking, and there's a lot of position flexibility there. There's an intelligent dude that's playing at a high level, maybe as good as anybody in the country right now.
Alex, your special teams, the kicking game, the return game, have been outstanding. And in particular with Chase, he's only allowed 3 punt returns. He's been like the defense's best friend to some degree, right? He's had a fantastic first 4 games.
Yeah, we've taken so much pride in special teams here since we got here. I think that's the first view of your identity as a program. And I don't know if that's because I've got a special teams background or that's just the way early on I was brought up that all you have to do to see what the identity of the program is flip on kickoff and kickoff return and see how guys run. If you ever watch us play on kickoff, we finish every single kickoff in the end zone, touchback or not. That's a statement. That's an identity. There's a level of mental and physical toughness that it takes every single time. And first thing put up in the team meeting after we played South Carolina State, however many kickoffs we had, the 8th and the 9th one is everybody sprinting through the end zone. It's truly your identity. It's who you are. From a punt perspective, as much as I hate to see Chase out there sometimes, he's been able to flip the field for us. He's done a phenomenal job. He's got a boot on him. But I think from a coverage standpoint, that's been such a huge point of emphasis for us. We, for the most part, have done a really, really solid job there. Again, I hate when the punt team's out there, but I'm glad he's doing a really good job.
Find out, I know he's through that pro kick program. Did you find out about him through the portal or through maybe Andrew Stokes talking about him or something?
Yeah, so he's part of the Pro Kick Australia program. He came up through there. He's a little bit unique because he went to college like a normal student for a while and then decided to get into it. So his eligibility is a little bit different. He's technically a senior. We're going to try to get another year out of him, but that'll be up to the NCAA. But he went to Lamar. It was really his only opportunity coming out. And after the season, he wanted a different opportunity. We were recruiting Luke Goder. So as we were recruiting him, Johnny, who runs Pro Kick, was like, man, there's a young man in the portal. If you guys want an older guy for a year that can kind of let Luke settle in and learn the game and all of that. And with Stokes graduating, we thought it was the perfect opportunity. He was in the portal. He had a phenomenal year. He was an All-American there, ironically enough, at 20 whatever he is, a freshman All-American, and had a phenomenal year there. We thought it was the perfect fit, one, to come in and kind of carry on what Stokes did for us, but two, let Luke mature for a year, learn the game. First time he's had a helmet and shoulder pads on, too. It's nice that you're not counting on a freshman to be able to go do it, certainly on a big stage. So, but that's how we found out.
Coach, you guys study the details and analytics and whatnot. Just wonder if you have any theories on why you've been so successful in the third quarter over time coming out, and then this season getting underway in the first quarter. Just the juxtaposition of those two things and what they mean, if anything, to you.
Yeah, Joe, to start with the third quarter, I think just inevitably we've done a good job at halftime of, one, making adjustments. I think we got elite coaches on all three sides. The ability to make adjustments. The iPads help in some ways there, but the ability to make adjustments. I think offensively, that's when you start seeing defenses wear down. The tempo starts to catch up to you, and as you get a feel for what you're getting defensively, you're able to get to the perfect play time after time. And in the third quarter, we've been able to come out and attack defensively in the same breath. There's kind of if you play complementary football, there's kind of like a new energy, a new spark that comes out in the second half. I don't know if there's anything analytical there, but I've certainly looked at it because I've tried to replicate the third quarter in the first quarter. They won't let us play a half and then start, but
Or move halftime.
or move halftime to the beginning. That's right. But we've spent, and I've spent so much time trying to make sure that we're starting the way you want to start. And you know, offensively, it truly is play selection to a point, but the ability to be so locked in the fine detail as everybody on defense is also fresh and totally cued in and locked in. It's the ability to get drives started early. You know, like a week ago is a great example. We go incomplete pass on first down. Now you're in 2nd and 10, no element of tempo. It's like starting a drive over on your own side of the field. You pick up 4 on 2nd down, and now you're in 3rd and 6, which is not where you want to live. You want to live in 3rd and short or not 3rd at all. So there's an element of focus, an element of being detailed, and more than anything, it's doing what the quarterback is comfortable doing, and it's doing what the offensive line is comfortable doing. But I take all the ownership there. You know, Joel and I have spent so much time, and Cody Burns, man, like, what is it that we can go to get ourselves started? You know, a week ago was funny, and this has happened quite a bit, where a week ago we're on defense first, long drive, we get a pick six, defense back out there again. Yeah. You know, there was literally 28 minutes of real time from when we kicked it off to when the offense was on the field. You know, that's part of it, I think. It sounds like an excuse. So
it was unusual.
It was unusual, but that's happened in my 2.5 years here. When we start out on defense, whether we get a stop, whether it's a long drive we get a stop or we don't get a stop, there's still this lag of time from when you come out to when you go. When we've started on offense first, we've had success early. So that's something that you look at to see, man, is that the way you want to go? I want to start fast. I think it's really important. We've practiced starting fast. We've started literally putting the ball down and going right out a stretch. When I tell you I have spent days of my tenure here figuring out an opportunity to start fast, what our best chance there is, I feel like I've got a good feel. I guess we'll find out Friday night, but it's certainly, I try not to let it be like the ultimate focus because we've had success as we've gone into the second, third, fourth drive. I also like having the ball first in the second half. I think that's been a huge part of our third quarter success and second half success. So it's continuing to me not being stubborn in any way, but trying to get every bit of information, putting it together, and saying, man, this is what we've had success with early, and just doing that. Maybe in some ways not getting too cute in a lot of ways, and just doing what we do really well. And I'm certainly adjusting, I'm learning, I'm growing, and I think as we continue to learn and grow, it's a challenge to our players offensively, certainly a challenge to our offensive staff as well.
Does conference play almost feel like a new season is starting, and are there any new goals that you're preaching to the team now that conference play is here?
Yeah, I think the way that the schedule's set up, it organically kind of feels like a fresh start. I've never set any goals for our program or myself, or I've never asked our players to set goals. Just not something that I believe in. I think you set standards and expectations, and really, at this point in our program, our players set the standards and the expectations, and then our job as coaches is to hold them to that standard when we get there to raise it. So we've never talked about, man, here's our goal. Maybe internally some guys feel that way. Guys have individual goals that they want to attain. My only agenda or my only expectation and standard for this program is for us every Friday, Saturday, there's going to be some Thursdays for us to be the best version of us. And that's physically, that's mentally, that's emotionally, to be the best version of us. And whatever that leads to, it leads to. We have fought our tails off in this program for now going into middle of year 3 here to play at a consistent standard every single week. And at this point into the year, I feel like we're doing that. There's still so much to do in terms of fine detail, in terms of situational football, some scheme things that we've got to continue to get to a standard that's nothing short of elite. And that's offensively, we've got to get better on third down. We've got to get better on P and 10. We have so much to grow, and we got to get better at running the football consistently. Defensively, we've got to get better at giving up explosive passes. We've been pretty good on third down. We got to continue to get better there. The standard for us defensively is to get 3 turnovers a game. We've reached it twice. We haven't reached it other times. And then on special teams, the standard is to create explosive plays and create points, which we've done every week but one. Happens to be the one we didn't win. So there's a standard in everything we do. Whatever that leads to at the end, so be it. But that's all part of us being able to control our process.
Nimrod has really emerged as quite the deep threat for you guys. Can you talk about how quickly he has melded with this offense, and as with his production, how that opens it up for the rest of the offense?
Yeah, Chaz had the luxury of coming in here and understanding the base foundation of the offense. I think it gave him a huge jump start to being able to come in. I know I've talked about this before, but for young guys, especially skill guys coming into the offense, just learning the foundation, understanding the tempo, understanding the verbiage. We're unique. We're different than most offenses, and we feel like that's our advantage. But when you come in, some guys, it takes a year to get used to playing how we play. And for Chaz coming in, he didn't have to learn it. He came from the same foundation. The other part for him is he knew at least the baseline of how he was going to get coached. So for him, there wasn't this culture shock coming down here of, man, what is this going to be? I was part of recruiting Chaz. I coached Chaz for a year. I know what makes Chaz tick. I know where he comes from. And so for him, there was this instant comfort level, not just schematically, but also the place. There's a handful of people on the team that he already knew. Half of the staff he already knew. So there was this instant comfort for him. Now all he had to go do is learn the verbiage, because the verbiage is different. Schematically, we're different than the last time I was with him, and then what they evolved into and what we've evolved into. And so it gave him a chance to instantly be able to go compete for a job where a lot of time guys come in, it takes them time to learn the system, grasp the system, on top of the verbiage and the actual scheme. And so for him, it gave him a chance to compete early. So he's been the same guy since he got here in terms of building a relationship with Byram. He already had one with Gaston, which was convenient. And now it was a matter of us being able to put him in situations to be successful. He's grown so much as just a wideout, not just a deep threat, just how he has learned fundamentally to come off the ball, his top of the routes, his IQ of the game, coverages, what he's done at the top of the route has been really, really impressive. And so we've continued to put more and more on his plate. It's worked out for him that he's been able to get open down the field, and Byram's gotten so much better at that part of his game as well. And so, and it's not just the down the field stuff. There's some third medium things that he's caught some balls where you're like, all right, that's Chaz's next step, and he's done a phenomenal job there. I think he's still got so much that in the tank, but right now he's a really confident version of him. And I think that's the positive of this transfer portal piece is here's a young man that started, I don't know, 5-6 games at the last place he was at, and really just needed a new situation to kind of get his own confidence back, needed a fresh start, and for nothing else other than he just needed to be comfortable. He needed to be in a situation where he was, one, appreciated, but two, featured in such a way that he can continue to build his confidence and just continue to see him become the best version of him. And just like we talked about Mac earlier, his process has changed so much. As he's had success, he comes into this building with this ginormous smile, continues to give energy. It's been really fun to be around Chaz and see this really excited version of him. Because the last version I saw of him was a freshman that was trying to get on the field, that was trying to figure out college life, first time away from home. Now you got this more mature version of a young man that's starting to not only be a really, really good player, but also starting to lead others around him. It's been really fun to watch.
As you've self-scouted the first 4 games, are you close to the identity that you want?
You know, I think from an identity standpoint, and I talked about the special teams earlier, I think that's something that you continue to hammer home every single week. Every time we step out on the football field, that's an opportunity for you to show who you are, individually as a unit and then eventually as a team. I think you have to continue to hammer it home. There's certain parts of our game where I would tell you yes. There's certain parts of our game where I would tell you, man, that don't look like what it should look like. But from a physicalness standpoint, from an intent standpoint, from a mental and physical toughness standpoint, we're way closer than we've ever been. I don't think we've reached the mountaintop there. I think as you ask our players, they would tell you exactly the same thing. I think you're constantly chasing this elite level of perfection. And I don't know if we'll ever get there, but I'm going to continue to lose sleep and continue to harp on chasing this identity that everybody in the country, when they talk about our program, says, man, like those dudes, they're physically, mentally tough, they're detailed, they're so elite in the situational football part of the game. But I am proud of the physical and mental toughness and the resiliency that we continue to show. I am proud of the complementary football that we continue to play. And I am proud of guys leading and then also guys allowing themselves to follow. I think we're closer than we've ever been.
You obviously have an offensive coordinator that you lean on heavily, but you still call the plays on game day, correct?
You know what? Joel's done a phenomenal job of leading the charge there. I would tell you this, we are so collected effort there in terms of the play calling. Cody Burns has brought so much to the table. And there's a lot of time where we lean on Cody, especially in pass situations and third down situations. There's certain times we lean heavy on Hoodie and Micah and Jack, especially when it comes to the run game stuff and some short yardage goal line and really some normal down run game stuff. I give my 2 cents kind of amongst all of it, but no, Joel's done a phenomenal job of organizing it, of running it. You know, we do so much in between drives We do so much ahead of time going into a game. We do so much in between drives. There's so much conversation that happens in between drives that that our job is to make it easier for Joel. Our job is to make it easier for really Joel to be able to know where he's going next because we're talking about it, and then our players knowing where we're going next. And I think we've always done a really good job of that, but Joel has done a phenomenal job with everybody's collective help in terms of calling the plays.
As you begin conference play,
I have my opinions on things, though, Joe.
I'm sure.
as you begin conference play, the Americans off to a good start. Do you have any sense for the competitive level ahead, or what you've seen so far from the league? Obviously, we're just starting, and who knows how it's going to shake out. What are your thoughts on what you've seen so far?
Yeah, I obviously see the scores every week, and so you're excited about some of the things that this league has done. You knew going in, there's been such a buy-in amongst the programs in this league in terms of raising the level of competition from a funding standpoint. But the talent, I thought looking at it in the summer, you're like, man, like this is going to be as talented of a group as we've been around since I've been here. I have not watched everybody. There's not enough time, and I'm so locked in on us. But I'll give you a better feel as we go through. But certainly, as we're getting to play non-conference games and you continue to see some really, really good wins, it's not surprising. I think there's some veteran quarterbacks in this league that have done a really good job. There's some really good coaches in this league. I mean, we're playing one of them. I know I talked about Coach Albin earlier, but I've looked up to Coach Albin from literally my time as a GA. Like, talk about consistency and this level of consistent high-level play. Like for Charlotte to be able to get a guy like that who's done it for a long time and done it at a high level. You look around our whole league, like coaches ain't jumping ship. Guys are building programs and sustainable programs. It's been really, really fun to see. And that's what you want. You want your league to be considered obviously as one of the best in the country, and that's what you continue to see. So I'm excited, but I've not studied everybody.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Shoot, 20 minutes.
Cool. Hi, Shu. Take questions for Jalen Schuler, currently tied for the team lead with 36 tackles.
Jalen, Coach mentioned the throwback helmets. I was curious if you have any thoughts about the headwear for Friday night.
Nah, they look cool. I mean, I wouldn't say it's just a throwback logo. You know what I'm saying? So like the helmet's gonna be the nice gold that we all like. But I do like the old logo. I don't know which one I like more, but I do like it.
But did this team take care of what it had to take care of during the bye? I mean, do you feel that, for one, was it a good time to have a break going into conference play? And secondly, did you guys check the boxes you needed to the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think it was a great time to have a bye week. You know, we probably had one of the hardest non-conference schedules, you know what I'm saying, lined up. So we got through that gauntlet of a non-conference opener. So dudes were a little beat up, you know what I'm saying, played a lot of, you know what I'm saying, bigger, more physical opponents than we probably will for the rest of the year. So having that bye week just for us was just to regain everybody who, you know what I'm saying, who got a little nicked up, and myself included. You know, I spent a lot of time in the training room, and we didn't really do too much. We still got good work in, and you know what I'm saying, start preparing for this week. But for the most part, yeah, we kind of just want to take a step, you know what I'm saying, reset, and then re-lock in for this week.
Coach was asked about special teams, in particular your punter, about the outstanding job that he's done, limiting returns, and how he's set up the defense very well with a lot of kicks inside
Right.
the 20. If you could talk about how that complementary type of football really works to a defense's advantage when you have the punt team nailing the opposition.
That's everything, especially, you know, at times, you know, we can't put together the type of drives that we like on offense. So being able to flip the field and, you know what I'm saying, pin the other team offensive back and have them backed up against their own end zone, it it makes it a lot easier to play defense. Like, you know, because it ain't all or nothing for us, you know. So we get a stop and then flip the field, and that goes on to helping our offense as well. Being able to have a punter that can, you know what I'm saying, flip the field like that and take a little bit of pressure off us as a defense, you know, knowing we just got stopped on offense and at least we got great field position on defense.
You've done real good with Aussie Kicker.
Yeah.
You talk about Chase and what kind of personality he is.
He's cool. I mean, I don't I don't mean to group all of them together, but like I don't think I've ever had a problem with any of the specs, honestly. Like I don't think anybody on the team has ever, like if you don't like the specs, you know what I'm saying, I think it's saying more about that individual than like the specs. But not Chase and Luke, the other Aussie, like, yeah, they're all cool, man. Like real chill, real down to earth, just trying to come in, do their job, come win us games, and for the most part, that's what they've been doing.
So what jumps out at you about Charlotte?
I mean, they gonna do what they do. They want to run the ball just about like every team. You know what I'm saying? As far as offensively, I haven't looked at their defense at all. But as far as offensively, you know, they want to come in and establish a run game just like every other defense. Do a lot with, you know, their tight ends. You know, move them around. They move around the slots and stuff a good little bit. But I mean, we you know what I'm saying? I don't want to speak on too much, but they cool.
How important is it to start conference play with a win?
It just sets the tone for the rest of the game. It's like last year, obviously, you know what I'm saying, that wasn't the way we wanted to start conference play. But like I said, it just sets the tone for the rest of the season pretty much. So you get a good win, not just a win, like a good win. You know what I'm saying? Like a good win, a handily win, and roll on into conference.
Are there any goals that you guys have now that conference play is here?
Like as a team?
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, take it week by week, win every week.
And then I know you talked about the jerseys earlier, the new throwback. Does it get you fired up playing in a new kind of look, or is it just any other game?
Nah, it's just another game. Cool?
Thanks, Jalen.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate it.
Name? Sir. All right. Left tackle / right guard, Zane Herring.
How y'all doing?
Hey, Zane, good morning. I got the same question I had for Jalen about the throwback helmets. Any thoughts you have and how you think they look?
You know, I'm pretty excited about it. I'm a throwback guy. I like old-fashioned stuff, retro stuff, so I'm pretty excited to get the old logo and old uniforms back on. So.
You have being an old-fashioned guy, as you put it. Do you have any kind of neat collection of mini helmets or anything like that?
Not mini helmets, but I have went to the bookstore and I got some retro Bulls logo shirts and stuff. So that's the kind of stuff I like. It's cool.
Cool, yeah.
What about Charlotte impresses you or jumps out at you?
I think their defensive line's pretty good. They do a lot of stuff to junk up the front, do a lot of twists and linebacker plugs and stuff like that. And they try to just junk up the box and get stuff spitting outside. And you know they're a good team. We don't want to doubt them and underestimate them. And we just want to come in and get the win, blow them out.
After quite a start to the season, a very demanding non-conference schedule, was it more importantly mentally or perhaps physically to have this time off before conference play starts Friday night?
I'd say a little bit of both. Going in those first 3 games, it was a gauntlet. You know, you got to go in and you got to know it's going to be physical and it's going to be mental. Like there's the crowd noise, there's every little aspect of it, and then just the physicality of, you know, going against these big guys every day or every weekend and going out there and trying to physically dominate them and not be physically dominated. And, you know, it's good to now get time to rest, recover, look more on Charlotte, look forward to this week and just get better.
You had, it's another opportunity too, prime time. On a Friday night, you had
Yes, sir.
Boise State open on a Thursday night. Obviously, there was a lot of attention with the Gators and the Hurricanes. Is this you guys, or even yourself personally, you really liked, you know, being under the spotlight like this? Because you're the only game, I believe, in the country Friday night.
I mean, it doesn't change anything for me whether or not we're in the spotlight or we're not, but because I just want to go out there and play ball. But I love it. It's just an added factor of excitement to it. You know, I don't try to think too much about it, but I will sit there and enjoy it. Like I did for the Florida game, for the won't back down, I sat there and took it all in. I'm like, we can go win this game right now. And I just wanted to take in that atmosphere and then go get the dub.
How important is it to start conference play with a win?
I think it's important just to set the tone, like Schuler said. You want to start off conference play with a win. You don't want to start off 0-1 and be at the bottom of the barrel. You want to be on top. So it's pretty important, I think.
How do you like where the offense is at right now?
I think we're in a good spot. Took us a little bit to get going, first few games in the first half. But once we got the ball rolling and got everybody, ready to go, we took off. We can move the ball. We were throwing it. We were running it. We're communicating on the front line, and we're all doing it for each other. Like, we're not doing it for selfish reasons or stats or whatnot. Like, we're committed to playing for the guy next to us and behind us and whatnot. So.
Thank you, Zane.
Great, thank
Sir.
you very much.
Thank y'all.
Okay, good luck Friday night. Thank you. See if I can maybe get a hold of Chase tomorrow.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
figured that might be where you were headed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should be able to get him out of practice. He's having a heck of a year.
Yeah, and I'll send you an email.